Gentlemen and gentlemen, welcome back to another Liga MX video. Today we will be going over our picks for Jornada 4, our bendecido Jornada, or Liga MX. That will start off with Viernes Botanero games. Starting it off, AS versus the champion, Puebla versus Toluca. Who do you got in this game, Chuy?
Give me Toluca, bro. That's light work for them.
Yes, sir. But here's an interesting fact of this matchup in the last 5 games. Puebla, playing at home in the last 5 games, have won 1, tied 1, and lost 3. Also, the last 3 matchups, Toluca has won. So, not as interesting as many people had thought. Toluca has just been dominant. So,
yeah,
I got Toluca as well.
For sure. Next game, Pumas versus Santos.
Yes, sir, Ski.
Really liking this one.
I got Pumas, bro. Pumas has been playing pretty well for the most part. They're undefeated actually in their last 3 games. Something that is pretty interesting that'll say otherwise for this matchup is that in the last 10 matchups, Santos has won 3 games, Pumas has won 3, and there's been 1 tie. So the trend says, to go with Santos. And the last matchup, Santos won 3-0. But I'm going to go against the grain, and I'm going to pick Pumas.
Yeah, I got Pumas too. Santos just gives up too many goals.
Yeah.
I think Pumas is more of a pragmatic team.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be a bad matchup for Santos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And
next game.
Let's just see. If there's an upset, it will be the Santos one just because of, like how I've said, the Liga MX is very trendy. And if the trend is, as we're seeing it right now, live on YouTube, Santos should be the winner here. But we're both going against the grain of what the last couple matchups have been. So
yeah, and Santos, even though they aren't like a super, or I'm just gonna say it, even though Santos sucks, they're not boring to watch. They're actually pretty. They're more of like an attacking team.
Yeah.
I think their problem is just they give up a lot of goals.
Yeah.
But I think this should be actually a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
And
it's on a Viernes, so Pumas Viernes Botanero game. Let's see how that goes for them because we're usually used to seeing them either on Sunday at noon or Saturday. So let's see what happens.
Stadium be looking hot as fuck.
Hell yeah. No type of shade.
Yeah, I know. All right, next game. Juarez versus Cruz Azul. I'll go first on this one since this is your team.
Go ahead.
I actually like Cruz Azul to win this game. I just think with the way Juarez plays, it kind of plays into Cruz Azul's style of play.
Yeah.
So I like Cruz Azul to win the game outright, but I could see this being a close game.
To be honest. Oh my God, excuse me. Oh, so. Like how I've been telling you guys, I've been giving you guys the stats. The last 10 matchups, Cruz Azul has won 6 games. Juarez has won 2, and there's been 2 ties. The temperature in Juarez is going to be freezing. They recently just got snow during the week, although it's looking like it's cleared. But it's still going to be freezing temperatures. And as for that, the weather conditions are not going to be favorable for Cruz Azul. This is going to be a tough, gritty game on a Viernes Botanero. And that's why I got this game as a tie. But just to go in a little bit deeper with, Cruz Azul is my team. And there's a blessing in disguise among us, Cruz Azulinos. Jorge Sanchez is set to leave to Greece. But one thing that I've been seeing on social media, there's a lot of people that are mad that he's leaving. Because how is somebody that's so ass having the opportunity to go to Europe and fulfill one's dream? It's not his fault. Yes, he put himself in the position playing ass, but the front office is allowing him, hearing offers that come in, but essentially giving the player a chance to go to Europe. They're not going to tax the team that's putting in the offer, but something that holds players back from going abroad, it's the front office. We've seen it with Chivas. We've seen it with America. We've seen it with Monterrey. Chivas taxes the hell out of their players. Chivas, being the team with the most, that only plays with pure Mexicans, should be the team that sends the most Mexicans abroad.
Facts.
And yet they don't. Yet they put double digits of millions of dollars. Well, for example, they'll put $10 million on Chiquete, which who the hell is going to pay that? So we need to stop blaming a player like Jorge Sanchez, and we need to start looking at the front offices that, set these high, what would you call it, price tags on these players.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
If Jorge Sanchez does end up leaving, you have to give credit where it's due, not to him, but to La Directiva of Cruz Azul, and that's all it is. And people need to get off of him because, yes, he is ass, and I'm pretty sure he knows he's ass as well. But
I think one thing people need to remember, too, is he's already gone to Europe, too, so that gives him more credibility, too, even though his form isn't the best right now.
Yeah. And another thing that I want to know, America being the biggest club in Mexico, the last time they ever sent a player to Europe was Erson. So, and right now there's this whole situation going on with Ralph Orquin that he wants to leave as a free agent, and he kind of went behind the team's back. Do you know who Ralph Orquin is?
Mm-mm.
Bro, he plays for your club.
Ralph Orquin?
Mm-hmm. But am I saying his name right? Ralph Orquin? I want to say he was like your guys' right back.
Oh, sure. I haven't heard of him.
You gotta tap in.
Has he played?
I want to say. Let me see if I show you a picture of this guy. I think he got hurt last season.
Oh, Ralph Orquin.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know.
You got me. But there's, I guess, been some drama because he went behind the club's back and he ended up getting his Spanish passport to be able to go as abroad in June as a free agent, not leaving the club with any of his rights or being able to generate the team any money. So, yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't played for America.
Okay.
He's a canterano. So there you go. We just sent somebody to Europe.
But not on the club's will, on his own will. Another example. But I guess you could say the same thing with Westcott because technically Westcott had to go behind the club's back to be able to go abroad. So,
yeah, I mean he's 22. He's actually born in the U.S.
Oh really? Where?
Yeah,
Texas.
Yeah, left back.
Left back.
So he plays for Juarez.
Okay.
That's why I was like Ralph Orquin. So he's on loan. So yeah, his rights belong to America. That's interesting. I actually wasn't tapped into that drama.
Yeah. All right, next game.
Speaking of America.
Yeah, but speaking of these frauds, America versus Necaxa. Will America score their first goal or will they get their first win?
I'll ask you first.
All right, so let me give you some stats to back up whichever argument you want to go with. Last 5 matchups, America has only won once. Last win over Necaxa was in August 23rd of 2023, bro. Almost 3 years ago. America does score their first goal this game, though. But it'll be from an error from the Necaxa goalie. That goalie is super shaky, bro. He's probably not going to come out right. And the ball somehow going to end up finding its way to the back of the net. This goalie, though, reminds me a lot of early Jurado. But given the way America has been playing and given the way Necaxa has its up and downs, and it will be in Necaxa, right? I believe this game will be played in Necaxa, Aguascalientes.
I think America's home.
Oh yeah, America is home actually. It is going to be played in Ciudad de Deportes. They should get a positive result, but the only positives I will give them is that they score their first goal, but this game ends in a tie.
Okay. I mean, I don't think that's disrespectful given how they played, but I got to go with America because Necaxa has also struggled.
Yeah, bro.
To start off the season.
They're up and down.
So, if it was like a top team, I'd be like, yeah, nah, I don't see it just from like 1 or I guess 2 weeks since they've last played.
Yeah.
I think the break helped America or will help America because it should give their players like added rest. And then I'm not sure if Zendejas is going to be back for this game. We'll see. But one thing I hadn't noticed up until leading up to this week is America is actually the only team in the league that hasn't scored. We talked about the fact that they hadn't scored, but I know they're the only team that hadn't. That's crazy. But they're actually one of the best defensive teams. They've only allowed 2 goals. And that's their good defensive performance dates back from like basically since the Jardinete era, because they're usually one of the top teams in terms of goals against. So I think they got that going for them. And also, new bombazo signing, Rafael Vega. Watch some film on him, bro. He's nice. He's talented enough to take this roster and this league by storm.
Okay.
But obviously, we'll see if his talent and his skill translates on the field in Liga MX and with this team.
Yeah.
But I think he is talented enough to do it. He's kind of like, he's Brazilian, so he's got that flair to his game. But he seems like he's an all-around player, and he fills the void that hasn't been filled since Diego Valdez, that playmaker that can play behind the 9. Now that Rodrigo Aguirre is gone, we'll see who steps up in that number 9 role. Yeah. But, now even though they still don't have like a good number 9 or one that's produced as of late, I think that this signing is definitely going to help increase their goal output, because I think he's going to, facilitate and create opportunities for Brian Rodriguez and Zendeja when he gets back, who we know, even though they're wingers, they can score goals. Yeah. So I'm definitely excited. It's pretty much all but official, because they got rid of Aguirre to fill in that spot. To open up space for that spot. So I'm definitely excited. We could see Rafael Vega balling. And then next thing you know, from one week to the next, we'll be talking about America as contenders for the title again.
That's why I was not hopping on that bandwagon to say, America is down in the mud, which I do like seeing it, but I'm just not going to fall for it, because last time I fell for it, they ended up doing me dirty, and they ended up beating us in the championship. So
for sure. Let's move on to the next game.
Yes, sir.
Atlas versus Mazatlan. I like Atlas in this game. They've actually won 2 of their first 3 games, so they're off to a good start. And also Mazatlan is dead last. So Atlas at home.
Yeah, I got no stats for you guys on this one. Mazatlan has nothing to play for, bro. Just go bet against them every matchup, every week. I don't think they get a win at all. Maybe one of the last games of the season. Maybe one of the last games of the season, but I want to give them 1 win this season. Who is that going to be against? Probably Puebla. No, actually, no, they already played each other.
Yeah, it's crazy how it's already Jornada 4.
Bro, that shit, Jesus Christ.
It's because of the doble jornada, and they started early, But let's move on to the next game. Atlético San Luis versus Chivas. Do you think Chivas continues their winning streak? They're currently the super leaders, having won the first 3 games.
Let me give you guys some quick stats on this one. The last 5 matchups with San Luis playing at home, San Luis, 2 wins, 3 ties, 1 loss against Chivas. I want to say this is going to continue the trend with a tie. I only say that to say because Chivas had a lot of players going to the Mexico camp. And Mexico is there the reason why Mexico had a stinker versus Bolivia and Panama. I think their players are going to be a little fatigued. They haven't had to have any rest since the league started. It's been game after game, and then they had to go travel, play game after game with the selección.
Some of them probably won't even start or play at all. Yeah, we'll see.
And they're young, so they're probably not so well with the recovery. So that's why. And San Luis has been playing pretty well. So I have this game going as a tie.
Yeah, that's a really good point you brought up. I still think I like Chivas to win the game because of the momentum that they have. Yeah. And because they're not necessarily a team filled with like superstars. I do think they have good players, but I think what makes them good is that Milito has them playing well, and they have an identity as a team now. So I think that helps them in a game like this. Yeah. So I do like Chivas to win this game.
Shody.
All right, next game. León versus Tigres. Tigres, not off to a great start. but neither has Leon. They're both kind of, as of now, mid-table teams.
Yep.
Definitely like Tigres to obviously improve on that as the season goes on. It has been a bit surprising because it's pretty much the same team from last season.
year, yeah.
Leon, I think we talked about them that they could be a surprise team, but as of now, they're still, streaky. So, what do you like in this one?
So, to back this up with some stats, this game is pretty it's pretty even. Leon, 4 wins. Tigres, 4 wins, 2 ties. But given that Tigres didn't really have a lot of players going to the Mexico camp besides Lainez. Leon, they're still trying to, find their stride this season. Natron Breeze is probably, trying to put some pieces together. But I think he lacks talent on that team, to be realistic with you. Leon is a tough opponent at home, though. But Tigres, I just have to go with who I think is the stronger team at this point. And I got Tigres winning. Who do you got?
I got Tigres too, for all the points you just made.
Yeah.
They're the more talented team, and you did bring up a good point about the added rest.
Yeah,
maybe that's why they've gotten out to a slow start. Because I mean, it is early in the season, but they did make a deep run, and then we know Liga MX has very short breaks in between tournaments. But let's move on to the next game. This one I think is gonna be a fun game to watch. Monterrey versus Tijuana. Who do you like in this one?
So, last 5 matchups, Monterrey has won 3 ties amongst Monterrey and Xolos, and Xolos has won. But I want to say Xolos will be without Gil Morra. And another crazy stat, Monterrey hasn't beat Xolos since October 2023. But Monterrey is playing at home. Xolos is probably one of the worst teams away from home. Given that, I got Monterrey to win. Who do you got?
Yeah, I agree. It is going to be interesting to see Tijuana, once I'm assuming Josef Martinez gets caught up to speed with them. So I think there might be, if he can be the goal scorer that we know.
Was.
Or just even like a threat on this Tijuana team that already has, a couple good players. I think Tijuana could be definitely a fun team to watch. But for this game, I definitely like Monterrey.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, last game. The only game on Sunday. Querétaro versus Pachuca. What do you got?
Another quick stat for you guys. Last 10 matchups against each other. Querétaro 3 wins. Pachuca 4 wins. 3 ties. In the last 3 years, though, Pachuca has only been able to beat Querétaro twice. But Querétaro has a lot of talent, a lot of hidden talent, as previewing our next segment. But before we get there, I think Pachuca just has a lot more to give than what Querétaro does at this given point of the season. Who do you got?
I like a tie in this one.
Ooh, okay.
Because, like you mentioned, this is a pretty competitive matchup. With given the last couple matchups that these teams have had, and Querétaro, want to give you some credit because you shouted them out as the sorpresa of the tournament, and watching that Chivas game, it really kind of put me on to some of their players, especially up front. So I kind of like this Querétaro team, and I think at home they find a way to get a positive result against a Pachuca team that still has talented players. So I think they find a way to tie.
Yes, sir.
And did you want to add something?
No. I'm done with all of.
Segueing from our picks, I think we talked about it last week. We're going to start a new segment called Hidden Gems. It's basically just players to look out for.
Yes, sir.
Players that maybe have fallen under the radar, so to speak, and we think they deserve some recognition. So I'll go ahead and get started with a player from Querétaro. His name is Mateo Coronel. He's a 27-year-old Argentinian Newell's canterano who, for those of you that don't know, they're basically like the Atlas of Argentina.
That's a good way to put it.
Not only because of the red and black colors, but they both have a youth academy that's very popular for producing a bunch of great players. Obviously, we know the GOAT is from that youth academy. But But yeah, he's a Newell's Canterano forward on loan from Atletico Tucumán since last season. Didn't really make much noise, but he's gotten off to a great start this season. He's the joint top goal scorer with 2 goals so far through 3 games. And I think we could see him make a big move this next season. I think he's going to have a breakout season. He's a all-around forward. They play him as a winger with Querétaro, but he has the composure of a center forward in front of goal, as we saw in that Chivas game where he has a good feel and good positioning. So he was able to get the rebound off of a shot, and instead of just blasting the ball, he dribbled past Tala and finished calmly. He's 5'8", but he's stout and he's fast, and he has good technical ability. He's good with both feet. He can also score headers. Like I said, he's a good finisher. He can score in a variety of ways. He can score outside of the box. He can score with his weaker foot. And he's also a pretty good passer. He has good link-up play.
Okay.
After watching his film a little bit, and by his film I mean YouTube highlights from previous experiences with other teams, he has good link-up plays. So he's usually the initiator of the 1-2, and then on the receiving end, he scores a lot of goals like that. And yeah, I think he's due for a good breakout season. He kind of reminds me of, not saying he's as good, but some of his game reminds me a little bit of a smaller Luis Suarez, because his movements, he's pretty quick. He's quicker than you think, but he's like I said, he's stout. So when he runs, he's not maybe as fluid.
Yeah.
He seems like he runs a little bit like kind of heavy, but he still has really good technique on the ball. He can dribble past players, and he's like trying to figure out how to explain it. Like he even kind of moves kind of big. Like with Luis Suarez, when you see him dribble, like he seems like he's not like, he almost seems like a little bit clumsy. Yeah. But they're not clumsy. It's just kind of the way they run. But yeah, he reminds me of Luis Suarez with how they run and the fact that they're all around players. Like they can score from outside the box, weaker foot. And even though he's small, he scores goals with his heads.
Yeah, that's a good attribute to have, especially for a forward. That'll give you a lot, especially in the Liga MX, where you kind of see, in the bigger clubs, you to be a forward, you have to have, be 6 foot and above. But in Liga MX, you will be successful if you're short and can score with your head. Also, he reminds me of Luis Suarez because, like Luis Suarez, he could lose his temper. He's already gotten a couple red cards. Damn, already?
Yeah. But yeah, that's my hidden gem for the week. Keep an eye out for Mateo Coronel.
That is indeed a hidden gem because he flew under my radar. And I was scouting that Querétaro team, and I don't know how I didn't notice him, so I will give you props. Sound the clapping sound for my boy Chuy.
Also, side note, those Querétaro home jerseys are sick.
Have you seen them? Yeah, they're pretty hard, bro. I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty hard.
I might have to wait till like the end of season sale, when they like drop in price.
Yeah, when they hit the Ross.
Yeah. Damn, Ross.
Oh, but yeah, those jerseys are pretty sick.
When they go 50% off at Nicky's.
Ooh, that is true. All right, moving on. I'm gonna give you guys my hidden gem of the week. My hidden gem, Cesar Garza, Pumas midfielder. Cesar Garza was one of the young bright stars that shined for Mexico in the U20 World Cup. He recently returned to Liga MX, signing with Pumas from his loan with Dundee FC from the Scottish Premiership. Cesar Garza is a defensive midfielder who this season has won 80% of his tackles, along with completing 88% of his passes, which is pretty amazing. He demonstrates great physical attributes with his great ability to win defensive duels, along with his movements off the ball, and his ability to read the field, knowing when to drop out and help his team on the attack. Along with tracking back to cover in open space, shows levels of maturity on the field compared to those of his peers. He is also very poised on the ball, and the fluidity he demonstrates is comparable to the likes of Richard Rios, who, as many of you guys know, actually played in the Liga MX with Mazatlan. And his ability to pass the ball, create open plays, reminds me of a young Sergio Busquets. We will see his maturity grow throughout the season, and I feel like at the end of the season he will be a name to look out for, and I won't be surprised if he ends up making that move to Europe within the next year or so. So that is my hidden gem of the week. But like I said, many of you guys have already known who Cesar Garza was, but it is pretty interesting that he's back with Liga MX. And unlike a team like Pumas, where there is a lot of growth to be done, Pumas have signed a lot of great players. Not shouting him out, but Uriel Antuna, the forward that they just got from Brazil. Good things are happening with Pumas, but we'll see how far that gets them this season. And if Cesar Garza could be successful, I will jump on his bandwagon. So
yeah, I think a good point you made was like his maturity. Because even though he's young, he just seems like he has a lot of poise, and he seems to have a good feel for the game. And yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. We'll be giving you guys more hidden gems, and if you guys have a hidden gem that's not really talked about, one that's super underrated, no overrated players over here, like an example that was overrated, you could give us Uriel Antuna, his time with Cruz Azul. That was very overrated. Somebody who is not overrated, who has been making news lately on the media, Hormiga Gonzalez. I feel like Hormiga Gonzalez could still be considered underrated. I feel like a lot of Mexican fans don't give him his credit.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was kind of, when we were doing this segment, I was kind of thinking, can you be a hidden gem if you play for a big team?
You still can, because one guy that I hope he's not one of your future hidden gems, but Daniel Aguirre. I
was gonna do it without.
I feel like he could be potentially have.
I guess you could make an argument. You can make an argument like, he's, even though he plays for a big team, he still doesn't get the recognition.
Yeah, and a lot of what he doesn't get appreciated. Let me word that differently. A lot of what he does just doesn't catch the attention of the fans
or the announcers.
Yeah. Because
sometimes when you watch games, it's like they don't highlight certain attributes.
Yeah.
But if you really pay attention, you're like, dang, this guy's good.
Yeah. But I feel like he flies under the radar a lot. But I feel like he's one that soon enough people are gonna start talking about him. He reminds me a lot of the one that went to Atlas, or not the one that went to Toluca with Vega, Canelo. He reminds me a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of his play.
I could see that. Yeah, I think, I guess hidden gem is a good way of putting it, because even though, like, for example, if they play for a big team, they could be a hidden gem, like, for Europe. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, okay, that's good to keep in mind heading forward, because there isn't going to be a whole lot of hidden gems, so to speak, on, like, all of these smaller teams. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're there for a reason, you know what I mean? But it could also just be like, as the season progresses, just players that we want to give recognition to.
Or players that when they step on the field make a difference, that who haven't been starting, and you all go and sit there and you ask yourself, why doesn't this guy start if he makes an impact as soon as he comes onto the field?
If that's the case, Brian Rodriguez.
I mean, I feel like we could there'll be many ways we could go about this segment, but I feel like those are good arguments.
Yeah, we're gonna have to really watch film for this one.
Yeah, we are, and it'll be cool to have you guys join us along this way and give us any recommendations of your guys' hidden gem. Hit us up on IG, anywhere that you guys follow us, even on the comment section on YouTube, letting us know who was your hidden gem of the week, or who is a hidden gem that you have in mind that you'd like for us to keep an eye out and have him segue onto this segment. But I feel like that's a good way to end this video. And remember, guys, like, share, subscribe. It helps a lot. Make sure you guys comment who you guys think will win this week. Give us your predictions. And like always, don't quote us.
Unless we're right.
Peace.